So who are you?
I'm Leaky.
Okay, Leaky. How how long have you been with the group?
With this group,
With Teapot, yeah.
uh, with Teapot in particular, or just like the boys.
The boys.
Day one. I mean, it was kind of my idea to kind of get that group chat going and get all the guys that I like playing with, who were, good guys and good players, together in a spot where we could, chat and try to find games. And it's, obviously turned into a lot more than that. So yeah, day one, honestly.
So would you say that you're the founder?
Sure, isn't it?
Would
Not really
other
much to
people
be
would other
founded.
people say that you're the founder?
Sure. Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Okay. How long have you been playing Onward?
Um, 4.5 years. I got the Quest 2, I think like a week after it came out, and that was my first VR headset. I think that was in late 2020. So yeah, probably about 4.5-ish years, and I got Onward pretty much immediately, and it slowly turned into the only game that I play. So, I've been playing Onward for about 4.5 years.
Okay. Um, what would you say that your in-game specialty is?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd say my specialty is more mental than like physical skill related stuff. Being like cripplingly OCD, getting the spawns memorized is one thing that's super helpful,
Yeah.
but also understanding how players tend to move. Like, a player can spawn anywhere, but it depends on where they move. So more important than knowing the spawn points is knowing where people have a tendency to go. And if it's somebody I don't know, like if it's somebody I haven't played with a long time, like you, I'm basically trying to figure out which of the three categories to put them in, whether it's dumb, smart, or bold. And if I think they're a dumb player, then, or dumb's not trying to be derogatory, but if they're a
You're
new
fine. You're
player, an
fine.
inexperienced player,
Okay.
then it's probably pretty reasonable to assume that they're gonna run out into the open, run directly into the line of fire, because they don't really know where they're going yet. They don't know where the enemy is. If they're a smart player, then I'm going to assume they're going to like try to hunker down real quick, or get out of sight. If they're a bold player, then I'll anticipate like kind of a bum rush, where like they'll be out in the open, or they'll be in my line of fire, but they're anticipating me as well. So whenever I'm playing with somebody I haven't played with much or not at all, I try to get a gauge on which of those three they are. And everybody has different tendencies as to what they like to do in the game. And the guys that I've played with a long time, I have a tendency to know what they like to do, so I can watch out for it. But with new guys, I usually try to start with one of those, like, are you this, or this? And that usually guides me pretty well.
Okay. Okay. Um. So your main game mode is firefight, correct?
Yes, now it is.
Okay. Before, what was it before? Before firefight came out.
When I first got the game, and I was like, I wasn't good enough to be confident in playing like actual other people, when I was still learning the mechanics of the game and the different weapons and all this stuff. I was just co-op hunt for like a year and a half. That's all I did. And that was a great place for me to start, because you can kind of toggle the difficulty of the bots that you're running. And obviously they've completely overhauled how they operate now. But that was a great way for me to learn the basic mechanics and movements and call outs and stuff like that. And then I got bored with that, and I went to Assault for a couple of years, and just like exclusively played that. And that's where I started to like notice myself getting a lot better, a lot more comfortable in the game. And then right around the time I was starting to get bored with that is when they dropped Firefight, and it's been that ever since.
Okay. Okay. So circling back around to your categories, um, quick. I have a question. Where would you place me? I mean, you've played with me for a while.
I think I've gone beyond the point of needing to put you in a category.
Okay.
Because I know a little bit more specifically what you like to do.
Yes.
You're obviously a long range guy. I rarely, if ever, see you in like up close and personal, you know, close quarters sort of thing. So I'm always looking, if I'm playing against you, I'm always checking the hills, I'm checking buildings, I'm checking windows. And if we're taking downfall, for example, then I know you're going northwest, or you're going southeast if you can get there.
All right.
But everybody's a little bit different. Like Johnny's a prime example where like if I'm anywhere near Twins and I'm going against Johnny, like he is going to try to flank behind us 100% of the time. So every 45 seconds, I'm just periodically kind of looking over to see if he's coming up behind me yet. Everyone's got their things that they tend to lean on, and I try to like memorize those things.
Okay. So what would you say your main loadout is?
Oof.
Like the one that you would use like the most.
The one that I would use the most, like if it was a desert island loadout and I could only bring one thing, it would be the MCX Virtus. Only recently kind of discovered it because I was just a rifleman for years. I don't think I used anything outside of the AK-5C or the AK-12 for like 3+ years. And once I discovered this guy, it was like there's nothing better. I don't love that you can only put the hollow on it,
That's
especially
changing.
for bigger
That's
maps.
changing.
Is it?
Wait. I think because they're adding new sights, aren't they?
Yeah, but I don't know for what. I don't know if that's just going to be for riflemen or what it's going to be because this is under specialist.
Yeah.
That'd be sick if they did. If they even a 2x on this, I'd be totally fine with that.
And they're adding the 203.
Yes, they are. I'm curious how that's going to affect the recoil on this because I haven't spent enough time with this without the foregrip on it to really get a gauge on the recoil for it without it. So I'm curious what the 203 brings to that.
I'm more curious
But
about
yeah,
what
if
it's
it was
going to
a
do to
desert,
points.
yeah, I do feel like they need to do a points overhaul. They did it not that long ago, and I
Yeah.
don't like it.
So I know that you like to help out new players, right? PG.
Yes,
I don't know. There's
M Trooper.
yeah.
Yep.
What's some advice that you'd give to a brand new player who just got the game?
First and foremost, don't spam the radio, and like if you're a little kid, don't speak unless you have something of value to say. Because I've seen kids who are quite skilled get booted from a lobby immediately just because they sound like a kid or they say something obnoxious. Like Drizzy comes to mind. He's a great kid and he's a very good player. But if he's just getting on the radio to talk, then he's going to get booted, and I've seen it happen with him more than once, which is kind of a bummer. But if you're not a little kid, like if you're an adult who's just playing the game, start on co-op hunt, like start on the single player stuff just so you can get second nature with the mechanics and like reloading without looking and like all the basic stuff before you start actually getting into like public lobbies. And then once you're off single player, go into co-op hunt or co-op escort evac, what is it?
There's mercenary, co-op, evac.
Yeah, so any one of those modes where you're playing against bots, like Mercenary's a little tougher because that learning curve is steep and I'm terrible at it. But co-op hunt is a great one to just get started for basic like map navigating and working on your aim, and then you can kind of get into the stuff a little bit more.
All right. So are there any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you'd like to say?
Regarding anything?
Regarding anything. Now's your time.
Not really. I don't really have a whole lot of complaints. I wish people would stop trying to fucking report us just because we're good. Like, is this supposed to be directed at just the boys or like
This
anybody?
is directed at you. This is directed like at you. Anything that you would like to say
To who?
to anyone. This
Oh,
just anything that you'd like to say to anyone.
the biggest thing, and I think this kind of piggybacks off what I was just started to say, is don't get frustrated when you get into a lobby of guys who are better than you, because we all started there. Um, and if you want to get better at the game, those are the matches you need to be in, because that's really where you learn like skills that are going to advance you. You're not really going to get better beating people who aren't as good as you. So it's frustrating. I feel like there's a younger influx of players that's just come in from like, 15 to like 20 years old. They come across anybody that's better than them and it's, oh, they're hacking, it's all that sort of thing. Like, just work on getting better. We all had to do it. Like, none of us got good at this game overnight. So if you want to get good at it, you got to put the work in. That's all it is.
All right. Anything else? Or is that it?
That's good for me.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. I hope to continue to play with you.